Welcome to the Soleutions Podcast, the show that helps forward-thinking podiatrists achieve greater podiatric success. Here are your hosts, Dr. Michael E. Graham and Mr. Matthew Soule.
Hey everyone, and welcome to the Soleutions SoleCast. I'm Matt Soule.
And I'm Dr. Michael E. Graham.
Welcome to the first episode. Mike, how you doing today?
Doing great. It's been a great day here, and we're so excited to get this first podcast developed and get it out there to everyone.
Yeah, so this is part of the greater Soleutions network we're building. So we've got the community and online education. That's where we started with this, but we wanted to keep things going, get resources out there. And so we're launching the podcast to go along with all that work we're doing in the community. We're excited to finally bring this to life after a lot of work and start doing interviews, sharing resources, having conversations, try to keep it very actionable and impactful for podiatrists out there.
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole thing is, we want to bring the experts here and to show how you can help your patients and grow your practice, become more successful. And so, yeah, this is really exciting. It's a whole new different format and, it's all about implementation though. And that's a big part of this for us is to be able to take something back to your practice and start helping patients right away and making more money.
And a little background on kind of where we started with this and the focus. So obviously Soleutions being cash pay focused in the podiatry space and wanting to help practitioners either create that hybrid model or go all in on cash pay if they want. But the goal is really, how do you build a practice that suits your life, suits what you want to do in business? And so everything's geared around actually having steps you can take and action items you can work towards in your practice.
Yeah. And, and also another aspect of this is just patient options, patient treatment option, diagnosis and treatment, because, the current insurance model really restricts a lot of some of the cutting edge technologies that are out there. And so what we found is that most podiatrists don't even explain those options to patients. And a lot of those treatments can get the patients better, faster, and probably even with less cost to the patient. So our goal is to help educate everyone out there to say, hey, here's the treatments that are out there, regardless if they're covered by your insurance or not. So that's why patient pay is so important.
Which is huge, right? Because at the end of the day, as a private practice podiatrist, or even in a group, you're going against an insurance company that is a behemoth. The admin side of the insurance companies are so huge now. They're so good at raking in dollars and being profitable. And I won't say it's always deliberately malicious and they're going out there to deny everything, but I mean, they're trying to deny claims and restrict access to some of these treatments that would have huge implications for patients or a huge pool of potential patients that could benefit from it. That's going to mean we got to kind of shift the model if we want to get those good technologies in front of patients.
It's an unfortunate thing, but it's definitely a scheme. So, I want to call it what it is.
Yeah.
My whole goal here is to help people regardless of anything else. And so we want to provide the best possible care to patients regardless of insurance coverage. Definitely, we can't cut insurance or, you can cut insurance completely out of your practice. For most practitioners, that's, a bridge too far. But what our goal is to shorten that gap to say, well, even if you're not ready to go full bore, no insurances, which is great. I mean, that's the ultimate goal. Can you imagine 100% cash pay services? And there's podiatrists out there that are doing it. And if they can do it, so can you. But anyway, we're here to help you with your journey. We want you to be successful. And we're here for you. That's the bottom line. Yep.
Yeah. And set expectations for what's coming out from us going forward. This is not going to be, Joe Rogan style podcast. They're not going to go for 2, 3, 4 hours. The goal is to keep it short and sweet, have those interviews and conversations with real podiatrists, patient success stories, industry experts, even other practitioners in other fields that are experienced in cash pay. So we can bring that knowledge and resources over and just keep that information rolling week after week. So you're hearing different perspectives because there's not one way to do it. It's finding the way that fits what you're looking to do and making sure that you can kind of tailor your business and your practice to accomplish those goals.
Yeah, I mean, because every single podiatry clinic practice is unique. And so, it's not just kind of a rubber stamp. Here you go. This is what you have to do, because maybe you're really focused on surgical treatments and you don't want to deal with anything else. Or then you have other practitioners, other podiatrists that just want to do non-surgical treatments. And the great news is that you can do it either way. You're going to be successful. You're going to help patients get better. And whatever it is for that you want, your path, we got the answers for you. And if we don't have them right now, we're going to find them for you.
Well, and that's kind of the whole goal, talking about what we'll get to in a second here with where this all started, but the community aspect is we shouldn't be in isolation, and whether it's podiatry or being a business owner in general, it can be really isolating. You're on this island trying to figure out how do you drive your business, and there's hundreds, if not thousands of other people out there in a similar boat. So why not pool everyone together so you can build those connections, you can have those resources and be able to just ask, hey, I'm having this situation. What do you think I should do? And get a bunch of different opinions, and you can take the ones you like, disregard the ones you don't, and ultimately have a little bit more of a support system than feeling like you're all alone.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, the community aspect of this is so huge. I mean, yeah, there's other ventures or whatever you want to call them that are out there, but we definitely have a unique approach to this. And the community part is great. It's really helpful.
So I'd say before we get too far ahead of ourselves, let's rewind a little bit and get back to where this started, because this was kind of your brainchild from years ago. So what brought this idea of starting Soleutions up in the first place?
Well, it actually started several years ago, and just back when I was the CEO of a different medical device company that a lot of you are aware of, and running into the insurance limitations and hearing the frustrations from so many other podiatrists that not even of the implants that I invented, but just other technologies that are out there that was just limiting patient care. And, the mindset was, well, if it's not covered by insurance, then the patients can't afford it. And it's like, that's not true at all. I mean, look at all of the plastic surgeries that are going on that are not covered by insurance, and all the dental, veneers and cosmetic dental procedures that patients are paying tens of thousands of dollars for that are not covered. And so, it's a mentality mindset. So, after years of just listening to this, it's like, no, enough of that. We need to change this. We need to, and there's really nobody else that has done this. And so rolled up my sleeves, put together the business plan with this. And it's like, okay, let's make this happen. And, fortunately, you came along, Matt, and here we are, and things are going great.
I think it's important to highlight, beyond just being an industry with a medical device, you were a practicing podiatrist. And so you've got this unique perspective doing this, mixed with the time right now where it's only getting harder with insurance reimbursement. We're seeing, even in the news right now, especially, possible cuts to Medicare. It's this crazy environment right now where if you're a podiatrist, and we've heard it with a lot of conversations, people are just throwing in the towel and giving up. And you should not have worked so hard and be delivering value to your community to just say, I can't make it. The system's against me. I just got to throw in the towel. There's got to be a better way.
Yeah. I mean, you couldn't have brought up a better point. I mean, it's the frustration, the stress level, just, so many podiatrists that are skilled and talented that can help so many people are just fed up with the system. And they're like, well, I can never get patients to pay for this, which is, of course, a horrible mindset, because with the right mindset, you can. And so then they just had an early retirement. And it's such a shame, because, again, they could still be helping so many people. So our goal is not to work hard. It's to work smart, like see fewer patients every day, but then identify more pathologies so that you can give them better results.
Well, yeah, and it brings it back to kind of that old school medicine where you can actually build a relationship with your patients, have more in-depth conversations. Part of why I wanted to jump into this with you is my father-in-law is a podiatrist. I hear the stories. I hear how many patients he sees a day. If you're going in and you get 3.5 to 5 minutes with a patient, how deep are you able to get? How much beyond whatever they came in and said their chief complaint was, can you really talk about? And maybe, yeah, they came in with one complaint, but if you were able to have a few more minutes with them, you could see there's a lot more stuff going on and maybe some other stuff we need to take a look at. That builds a more holistic treatment plan for the patient and just better outcomes overall.
That's it. It's like so much pathology is usually missed. And, our goal is just optimize foot and ankle health. And with just so many different conditions, but and it's not life or death situations too, but, even, toenail fungus and chronic athlete's foot, these are ongoing disease entities that are going to eventually have a negative impact. And so with any disease, the sooner you treat it, then the easier it is to fix it. If it's left ignored and then you reach that point of no return, and then you have to have major battles to try to fix them.
So what do you think? Because we've been out there for months now as we're building out solutions, having a ton of conversations. There's a ton of excitement about what we're doing. Basically, everyone agrees this needs to happen now. It's not just for us. It's for basically the medical community in general is grappling with this. You look at other professions, like you said, plastic surgeons, dentists, chiropractors, even some optometrists. There's a lot of other fields that have already adopted this kind of cash pay mindset, right, hybrid practice mindset. What do you think is holding podiatry back or making podiatrists a little bit more weary to take the jump? Or what do you think that first step needs to be for the industry?
Well, it's the fear of the unknown. We've become so reliant on the insurance industry that it just really makes it kind of difficult to change, to say, how can I, if I cut out some insurances or if I modify my practice, how am I going to make any money? And right now, a lot of times patients are balking at minor copays. And so we've just fallen into this trap on that, again, patients won't pay for my services. So if they're not going to pay a $5 copay, then they're not going to pay for thousands of dollars of a surgery or other treatments. But that's simply not the case. And maybe those specific patients won't, but there are other patients that are sick and tired of dealing with whatever problem they're having and being bounced around from podiatrist to podiatrist, not getting the answers that they want because they're using the old-fashioned techniques that are only covered by the insurances versus some of the newer technologies that are just not covered. But again, they get great results. So mindset is really the first thing that you have to conquer. Having that positive mindset that you will attract patients who will pay for your services. That's the first step.
It's that negative talk. Like you said, we see that patient that's arguing about the copay and we think, oh, they're not going to pay. They don't have any money. Why do I even bother? And we rule them out without having the conversation. But at our solutions seminar, we heard from a podiatrist that went through that said, hey, she was arguing when she came into the office around the copay, didn't think she would need it, but she was a great candidate for some regenerative medicine and laser treatment. I decided I'm just going to offer her the package anyways. And she bought the $1,200 regenerative medicine and laser package, but she was arguing about her copay. So we put that limit in there saying, oh, they're not going to pay. They'll pay if they see the value. And so it's that education side and preventing great treatments. And then patients will, of course, pay if they can see that they're going to get better. It's just showing them, if you get this, your life gets better. Here's the outcomes. Here's where you want to get to. Here's the path to do it.
That's right. Yeah. And that's, one of the other things, not to get too deep into all of this, but it's something else that's super important is withholding medical treatment options from patients, not letting them know about things that different treatments that they could really benefit from. But because they're not a covered benefit, the doctor doesn't even tell them about it. And that's a shame because you are now prejudging whether your patient will accept this treatment or not. And, they need to make that decision on their own.
We think if we're offering these services, it needs to be like 100% adoption, when at the end of the day, we just want to offer different routes. Hey, you could do nothing. You could do option A, option B. Here's where that gets you. Here's what that timeline looks like. Here's the different treatments we would do along the way. And then the patient gets to decide, but at least if they have those options, they can make a decision with the information they have available. If they don't have that information, they don't know what they don't know. They might not know there's a laser, which could be a non-invasive way to get that pain relief. They're thinking, oh, I got to get shots or I got to get surgery. And they don't They don't know that in between.
So that's part of our mission too, is looking at the avenues of podiatric wealth, because there are so many different modalities that are out there that are, number one, in the patient's best interest, and number two, something that you can bill the patient for directly. So that's a good combination.
Yeah, when it's, I guess, that ability to scale up and cash pay, it seems daunting because it's like, I'm going to ditch insurances or start these cash pay treatments. Like, what does that look like? And our minds go to, we have to go 0 to 60, where we have to start doing all these laser treatments, regenerative medicine, topical treatments, oral supplements, whatever it might be. But there's that path where you find those different treatments that you like, that you think your patient base would like, and you can start doing it, 1% at a time, especially for those lower cost ones where, hey, just get 1 or 2 patients doing it, get 2 more the next week, a few more after that, get comfortable talking about it. And you can do that kind of stepping stone to grow that new revenue stream for your practice, help build some separation from insurance, and then that gives you a little bit more room to make those bigger decisions.
Definitely. And that's something else that we discuss a lot, is with some of those higher valued equipment, the lasers, shock waves, and how we, again, goes back to mindset, how we think of that this is a big expense to our practice, when in reality, it's a great investment. And these things can actually make you a lot of revenue, make you a lot of money. So it's not, again, it's all about the mindset and how you look at these things.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to give away too many of our secrets yet. So.
I mean, I love the way that Joe Kenrick put it in his presentation he did with us at the conference, and also, something he's passionate about when he talks about it, his laser product. Shout out to CE Lasers, cutting edge lasers. I mean, it's not a small price tag, but if you look at where you would take money, if you put it in the stock market, and my background comes on the finance side, accounting side, I live for putting money in the stock market, letting it grow. But then you think about it as a business owner, I could put money away, take it out of the business, put it in the stock market, make 20% if I'm having a killer year, or I could put it towards this equipment. Patients are going to pay for it. They're going to basically subsidize me getting that technology, and I might make a 400% return on that. I mean, the numbers are crazy, and the amount of patients you need per month when you break it down to that monthly payment is small. It could be like 2 patients a month buying call it a laser program or a shockwave treatment package, could cover that, and then everything else for that month is just profit.
So then which is great. So what we do is to then also help you how to get patients to accept these treatments. How do you explain to them why they need to get this laser, and how to really overcome objections before they are even an objection. And so there's a whole learning process for all of that. And so once you know that, then that's going to give you the confidence to go ahead and pull the trigger to get one of these other machines that's going to help your patients grow your practice and help you achieve all of your goals.
What goes in line with, it's that patient education and that bringing the whole office together, right? Because the podiatrist isn't doing it alone. You got to have your MA on top of everything, being able to say the same kind of key points that you're reiterating, get your front office staff to have the presentation down, have them have tried out some of those things, because they're all raging advocates. They try it once and they go, man, that's amazing technology. Why would they not want to share it with every patient that walks through the door? And if that patient walks through the door and every interaction is supporting that value proposition, you're going to have huge adoption rates, and that's going to wildly change the success of your practice. That's, I think, the key is just that getting going, getting some of that in there, getting the team together, and seeing that, we got to change the system. It's not going to go forward like this. It's not sustainable. You're either going to burn out because you have to see 200 patients or more a week, or you're going to find a different way. Because the insurance model isn't out there to help podiatrists right now. It's there to help those insurance companies.
And again, and this kind of circles back to our community, where if you're there on your desert island trying to make this decision, then it's going to be harder. But then if you are part of the community, and here are other surgeons, other podiatrists that have the same technology, and you can ask them like, hey, I'm really thinking about getting this. How's it working out for you? And all of this is behind the scenes of the companies that are out there, so you can kind of get these independent reviews of the products, and to make sure to give you the confidence to get it, or maybe it isn't for you.
If someone tells you, hey, you're going to make a boatload of money off some product, and there's so many out there, so that's why you do have to be careful and make sure you're only using reputable companies that have done the right testing, that have success stories, and you can get that validation from other podiatrists out there. But even if another podiatrist says, hey, this is the most amazing thing out there, I'm selling it like crazy, but you don't believe in it, you're not going to have success. And it's probably going to have nothing to do with the technology itself, even if it is great, because it's how you're going to communicate and educate the patient on it. You've got to be a raving fan of it. You have to be able to see those benefits to the patients too, to get more patients to opt in on it.
Exactly. That's absolutely right. Yeah.
Do you have a tip for those that are starting to think about cash pay, like one action they can take today to start moving the needle?
There's so many different things to take into consideration. I would say probably the lowest hanging fruit is just selling some products in your office for toenail fungus and chronic athlete's foot. This is a non-surgical option that has a pretty low barrier to entry as far as getting products to patients, and without having to go in and like cut out insurances or anything like that. Some podiatrists think it's really salesy to have a product available there in your office, and so you feel like a salesman for whatever product it is. But again, this is negative mindset. Positive mindset is, here we have a patient that needs this product. They're going to benefit from it. You're offering them a product that has been tested, trusted, used by other podiatrists, getting great results. So why would you send a patient on a wild goose chase to some other pharmacy where that pharmacy is going to sell them, let's say, not as great of a product as you have in your office? And so what are the chances that the patient's actually going to go to that other pharmacy and pick up that product and use it? They get out of the office and now this happens, that happens, and they follow up in 3 months and you're like, by the way, did you get this? Nope, didn't do it. And how many times is that going to happen? Versus you have it right there in your office and it's money that goes to your bank account and it helps the patient. So now they can go home and implement that treatment right away. So, I mean, that's just a no-brainer.
It's that shift, because if they're paying you directly cash pay for their visit or for aspects of their treatment, the value changes to them. Their experience needs to change. And if you look at the world we live in, Amazon will get stuff to us next day, right? We don't have to go out somewhere, find it, wait days. So if you tell the patient, hey, you need this supplement or this orthotic or whatever, and they have to go out and find it, we probably don't have a lot of patient compliance on that. Like you said, they're going to drop off or just not do it. And it also doesn't help their experience versus if they walk out, you give them everything they need, they get relief minutes out the door because they have everything. They're going to be that raving fan that tells all of their friends, neighbors, coworkers about you and your practice, and then you grow more organically. So great patient experience leads to great marketing and great referral growth.
Yeah, exactly. For all the naysayers about having those in-office products, go to any dental office, go to any dermatologist, plastic surgeon's office, and they have display cases of products. There's a reason for that, and they're successful at selling it. Patients are buying it. They're doing it for a reason. So if you're not doing any kind of in-office dispensing, you're missing out. I mean, you're literally missing out. So you could really add a lot of revenue right there. I mean, I'm not saying you're going to double your salary or anything, but that's just the easiest low-hanging fruit there possibly is.
I mean, you get any more, then just get a little bit more revenue in. That starts, hey, I'm going to cover maybe part of my employee costs. I'm going to cover part of rent, or I'm going to get a little bit extra profit this month. I mean, it all just helps your bottom line if you can start getting those different avenues, especially if you're already referring them out to go get it, right? Why not have it in your office and control that process a little more?
And even for those that have maybe attempted to do that and didn't succeed or aren't really capitalizing on it as much, it's something that you need to pay more attention to. And maybe you need to give your staff an incentive to say, hey, if we sell so many products a month, or we can do different things for the office, for that employee. So there's a lot of ways to capitalize on that. So again, you should be making a lot of revenue from in-office dispensing. Just, it's that easy.
Like you said, it's probably not a product issue necessarily. It's the method or the avenues in which it's getting there, which is totally understandable. If you're full insurance, you're having to see 100, 150 patients a week, literally 5 days a week. You get no time to work on your business. But if you can start doing the shift and getting some of these cash payment options in there, being able to see a few less patients, and you can start carving out that time, even if it's 2, 3, 4 hours a week to work on your business and go, hey, the dispensing side's not working. Let's look at how we're walking a patient through that experience. Where does it fall off? Does the MA come in at the end and and give them a little trial size of the lotion and then talk about it and refer them over to the display at the front? Or is it, hey, we talk about it and then we send them out to schedule their next appointment and leave, and we're not supporting that value proposition that we have in office?
Well, and maybe this is a great segue to kind of jump into a different topic of taking that time out from your practice to reevaluate what actually is going on. And I think that this is kind of another, thing that can be improved upon, because when you're dealing with such a high volume practice, and maybe you have that surgical practice too, and you're just cranking patients out 5-6 days a week, you don't really have that time to just take half a day or even a couple of hours to look at your numbers and what's going on. Like where am I doing great and what areas of my practice needs improvement. So that's really important.
It's that identity we have. I've worked with so many different business owners, and what inevitably happens, especially in trade-based businesses, it could be a plumber, it could be an electrician, it could be a doctor. You get trained in a particular trade and you're really good at that aspect of it. But when you go into starting your own business, you're an entrepreneur, there's this whole other hat you have to wear. There's this whole other set of skills that you probably were never trained on. And there's a lot of discomfort there. So you don't want to deal with it. It's like, hey, I'm just going to keep doing what I know and we'll figure it out. But if you're not taking that time out of your practice to look at what's going on, what do the numbers look like? How's the team doing? How are we doing against our metrics? You're never going to grow. And so even though it's uncomfortable, we have to be okay getting into that frame, spending time on it, working on our business and not in it, because that's the only way we're going to be able to grow and shift. And regardless of anything else going into the industry right now, if you're going to have a successful practice, you have to have some understanding on that. Even if you have a CEO, business manager, you've got to have some baseline level of competence to be able to look at that and make sure your business is going the right direction, because you're the captain of the ship. So you got to take some ownership of it, and we can't fully delegate all of those responsibilities.
You have to roll up your sleeves and be the business owner to look at all of those things, just like you said.
Well, any closing thoughts for today?
Yeah, well, again, we're excited to get this SoleCast launched, and we have a lot of great topics coming up. Always, we want to hear from you. Let us know if there's something that we haven't discussed. If there's somebody that you think we should have on our SoleCast, then definitely send them our way. So again, this is here for you. We're here for your success. And our bottom line is patient care. We want you to be able to provide your patients with the best possible care. You deserve to get rewarded for your time and energy, and you don't have to just work yourself at a crazy pace so that it negatively affects your quality of life, because we're worried about all those podiatrists out there that are just really struggling, maybe not even physically or financially, but mentally, because it's not good. So it's time to change that. And again, it's work smarter, not harder.
Being an entrepreneur is one of the most rewarding things I've ever done. I think it's so powerful. It's so impactful for that entrepreneur themselves, their family, but also the community and the service they're providing. And we want to support all the podiatrists out there. We want to make sure this industry survives and thrives. This whole conglomeration and everyone getting bought up and turning into big business doesn't support the local communities, doesn't support the patients coming in. And so we've got to start rethinking how we operate and what the future is going to look like. And even if it's small shifts, those small shifts pay huge dividends and can really change people's lives.
Yeah, absolutely. One small maneuver can make a huge difference in your practice.
Thanks for kicking off this first episode with us. We're excited to start this journey with everyone. If you found this helpful, hit follow or subscribe wherever you're listening and leave a review so more podiatrists can find the show. And if you're ready to go deeper, make sure you go to solutionsdpm.com. Our community is where you'll find courses and real-time conversations with doctors that are making these shifts. Stay tuned for our next episode. And until then, keep growing smarter.